Hey, so this is my second video ever, so pardon the poor videography, work in progress. But today I'm going to be showing you how to make this, I call it the Pine Forest Foundation Paper Piecing Block. It's a little pattern I came up with, and you can see it on my Etsy or my Instagram, or you can just watch this and check it out here and, screenshot it at an opportune time to get the pattern for free, I guess. But yeah, I'm just going to be showing you how to assemble this little quilt block. So if you're not familiar with foundation paper piecing, look it up first, or I guess just keep watching this video. But if you are familiar, then perhaps you'll be interested in creating this pattern for yourself. So I'm starting here with the bottom. You can see, it's labeled 1, 2, 3. It's the space next to the trunk, and then the space on the other side of the trunk. That's how foundation paper piecing works. You just kind of sew by number. And some people like to pin their fabric in place when they sew. I think this is a little time consuming and I don't really find it necessary most of the time. For more complicated pieces, sure. But for straight lines like the ones found on this pattern, well, all foundation paper piecing uses straight lines, but this isn't terribly complicated. I'd almost say this is a fairly beginner-friendly piece. I don't feel the need to use any pins. I just kind of hold it in place and then put it through my brother's sewing machine. And I've got an ironing board next to me that's kind of out of shot. I do usually press in between each stitch, just to make it a little cleaner and easier for me to see what's going on. But I chose not to show that because, press or don't press, it's up to you. You can finger press, you can use a little hand roller. It'll look like this. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go, hard cut. And now it's on to the following segments, and you can really duplicate this pattern and make the tree as tall or as short as you want. Give as many levels as you'd like. I chose to do 3, kind of classic pine tree. I live in Australia and it's Christmas time right now, and there just aren't a lot of pine forests like I grew up around. It's beautiful here, don't get me wrong, Christmas at the beach is wonderful, but I'm from the Midwestern US, and this pattern is just kind of inspired by where I grew up. So again, it's just segments of 3. It's the, I guess, pine tree itself, and then the space next to it, and the space on the other side. So if you pause or look closely, you can see, okay, here's the line, 4, 5, 6. So we're just going to sew in order. This green part is piece number 4. So I'm just sewing across the line to keep it in place. And then once I sew this, come the 2 triangles on either side. So when I'm sewing foundation paper piecing, I don't actually do a lot of prep. I know traditional quilting methods are made to use up scraps, but I think foundation paper piecing is kind of the opposite. All I do is get more scraps. So, the pieces are such a particular shape that even though you can see this is sort of a trapezoid, I'm using a rectangle and just cutting off all the excess. And it doesn't leave loads of scrap. They're just it's little bits. I guess you could save them up and stuff them in, I don't know, a tiny pillow or something for a baby mobile or a tiny stuffed animal or something instead of polyfill. Honestly, I just throw the scraps away. But if you are concerned with fabric wastage, you can cut particular pieces and line everything up and pin it all in place before you begin to sew. You can see that triangle is way bigger than the piece needed, but I'd say time is money, and We all spend too much at the fabric store. That's kind of a fact. But I'm not that bothered by the tiny amount of wastage that I get when making these little patterns. Right, pardon the arm in the shot. Like I said, I'm still new to this, but excited to share kind of what I do in my pattern making process and sewing. So now that both triangles are sewn on, I can trim the scrap and then turn them out and press them. And then it's on to the next tier. And then same thing, and then the next tier. Right, looking good. And I'm just gonna breeze through these next two tiers because you know the order in which this is. Continuing. And at about 10 minutes long, yeah, this video is sped up, but honestly, it doesn't take that long to make this tree. And once you've done it once, you can do it like 30 times, and it just takes less and less time with each tree. To a point, of course. But if you're using these trees for like a full-size quilt, or I'm making a little tapestry out of it, you can just sit down. Yeah, the first one takes like 20 minutes, half an hour, but after that you really just bang them out in, I don't know, 10 to 12 minutes per. I guess it depends on your setup and prep work, but that's one thing I like about this pattern, and foundation paper piecing in general, is that it's simple, easy to follow directions, and you get the same product every time, as long as you know how to sew a straight line. Also, I guess it's maybe important to note, I don't back tack when I start a seam, and I do use a stitch length of 2.5, and I use regular printer paper for my foundation paper piecing. I'm just gentle when I tear it out, and when I sew a border on the tree, I do back tack that to keep everything in place. Alright, so I'm sewing up the sides here. These are the last pieces that kind of keep the tree sides concealed. And there you have it. Alright, it is pressed. I think it's looking pretty good. Now all I have to do is trim around the edges. It's got a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And you could use one of those rolling wheels and a quilt ruler, but I'm not too fussy. I just use a pair of scissors to trim. And there she is. So if you're interested in this, again, you could like secretly screenshot it from the video, or you could go to my Etsy site and buy the pattern at Kangaroo Paw Quilts.